Hello everybody, and this is Terry, and welcome to my orchid jungle. And welcome to another edition of An Orchid a Day. Now today I'm going to take a look at my Latourias, my Latouria Dendrobiums, which you all know is one of my favorite. And I want to introduce you to these two books. What I've actually found out is that they're different. I thought they were the same. You can see they both have the same titles, they both have the same author, but one is different. This one is sort of an alphabetical summary or classification of species, giving a lot of useful information, really highlighting the historical species, which are lineale, discolor, and Sophronides, of course, and discolor and other species from there, but it's more in alphabetical form. This one more breaks it down into sections, and it does have a nice section on Latouria. These books are really good, and sorry for the lawnmower. I'm just going to keep on going because I got to get this done right now. So I hope you all can hear me. I should be clear because I have my super expensive mic. But anyway, I am talking about Latourias today, specifically mine. So let me just give a little history on the Latourias if you're not familiar. Latourias are very significant in that they were some of the first orchids to reach Europe from New Guinea way back in 1823. One of these was macrophyllum, second was bifalce. So then this goes on to talk about macrophyllum, which is from Java and Fiji, and then from there on it goes into individual species. Now this is alexandrae. You know that I have alexandrae and I love it. It's probably my favorite. It is my favorite. But let me just walk around and show some of them, and I can get back to that here in a minute. Let me get a cup of coffee or a drink. And since the book mentioned macrophyllum, here is my macrophyllum right here. I haven't had this that long. I actually have not ever had a macrophyllum before this. The macrophyllums are in that same category as I would put rhodostictum, forbesii, atroviolaceum. They come from more higher elevations. They like it more cooler. They get the cooler mists and during the day up in the mountains. They get year-round moisture. But their temperatures are more cooler. And so I've been reluctant to get one unless it was of a big blooming size. And I did get one that was a blooming size. So very happy to have that species. Again, you know, it's a more cooler grower. And right next to it is another Latouria, which is my spectabile. You know, this is the alien orchid. I got this and I got that at the same time. Both were in bloom. And what's that? Is that going to be another? No, that's an old spike. But anyway, big blooming size plants. Spectabile likes a lot of heat. They like heat. They like more sun than most. They hang out at the tops of the trees epiphytically. They like more morning to right before noon sun, and maybe a little bit in the afternoon, but they do not like to tolerate the heat of the middle of the day. So they're shaded during that part of the day. And in the wintertime, they still get heat and they're watered year-round. Pretty much most of them are. I do have some deciduous ones that are species. Now let's walk over here. Here's my finisterrae that is just beginning to open up blooms. Again, Latourias are mostly all flowers that are chartreuse, white, green, lime green with often little hairs covering the backs or inside the lip. The lip and the petals and sepals often are striped and spotted. Fairly mostly similar across the species, across the genus, but there are some variations, of course. My favorite, well, besides alexandrae, I like johnsoniae is my favorite because it's a pure white Latouria, and again, it is one of those that is a little bit more sensitive, as is forbesii. I don't have a johnsoniae now. I did lose that, and they're really hard to get. But finisterrae is another one that's similar to macrophyllum, as I said. Likes a lot of humidity and is on the cooler end of the temperature spectrum. Now let's continue on. This is a species that I have. I got this last fall. This is Dendrobium delcurei, which is a Latouria. Now this is one of the Latourias that is a deciduous, so it gets a complete dry rest in which it will lose its leaves, and then in the spring, when it is mature enough and old enough, then it will bloom from in the spring, and then it will start its new growths, which will again mature, and then we'll get a rest. This was mounted on this, little twig that I brought back from Seattle with some of the moss, live sphagnum. I don't know how live it is now, but this seems to be liking it so far. The roots are getting close to the mound, so hopefully I will be able to show you some flowers. These flowers arise from, I believe, the top of the deciduous growth. Smallish flowers. I don't think there is much of an inflorescence. If so, it is very short, but the flowers are short, similar to Latouria, being that they're chartreuse with stripes. Okay, so I'll keep going. Back here, tucked over here, is another species that I have. This is Dendrobium convolutum, which is used in hybridization a lot. There's a spike right there, and I know there's another one right there. These like more water than most convolutum does. They do, most Latourias, they all like free draining compost, free draining media, because they like lots, almost copious amounts of water while they are growing in the spring. So a free draining material is best, but this one likes a little bit more, I know. I used to have I do still have it somewhere, a hybrid. Actually, it's over here. It's right here. This is convolutum crossed with biloculare. Yes, and this was basically a constant bloomer for me before I repotted it, and it's just now popping back into life. It's got some funky growths coming up. I'm sure that they're kikis, and we'll see. But that is a nice flower, ever blooming, same chartreuse, very similar to the convolutum. And I will post pictures of all of these. Also up here is one that I am saving, that I am hanging on to, although it is almost dead. This is Andre Millar. The tag is somewhere. It is Andre Millar. Yes, which is atroviolaceum times convolutum. I do not have an atroviolaceum. This looks like it's dead. Well, most of it is dead, but there are a few canes on here that are still doing things. So that's got a growth coming out the top, or it's got a kiki or something. So I'm really hoping to save that. That did not do so well for me. I got that from Orchid Trail, but again, I am trying to save it. Now, some other Latourias that I have, of course, my Joyce Kelly down here that has bloomed before and has put up some nice growths over the winter. Hopefully I'll get some blooms. The one back here is, this is Rhodostictum. Just finished blooming not long ago, and it does have some growths coming in at the base. And all of these have the same culture as all the other Latourias. And this one here in front is my, what is this? Is this my Fire Wings Silver King? Got a new growth. And this has not bloomed for me, but it is blooming size. Down there is this is my Fire Wings. It's looking pretty bad, but it's got some growths coming up. Down below, hopefully we will do better. This was sitting near the window, probably got a little too cold. And then, did I talk about, yes, I did talk about that one, and that one, and that one. Okay, so right here in front of me is another Latouria. And this is one of the last few that I'll go over because I'll probably just skim through some of the others. This is one that I got not too long ago, maybe last fall, but it was a division that was blooming. I potted it up. I haven't seen any new growths, but it is starting to put up some more spikes for me. There's one right there. But anyway, let me walk real quick and see if I can find some more, and then I will end the video because I don't want to make these videos too long. But here is my alexandrae, which is a species. Didn't have such a great winter, but it was repotted. Okay, here is a Latouria, and this is Latouria rhodostictum, and this was just recently put on a cool log with moss, trying to keep it in a little bit of shade and trying to keep it hydrated enough and cool enough. Again, rhodostictum is a species highly used in hybridization, widely used, and a small miniature. Again, it's more of a white with some stripes going through it. Very long wings, very long petals that look like wings, but it is a miniature, and sometimes there is a fragrance to it. It is known for these long stems, and then they come out, they puff out to like more like a cigar, like regular Latourias do. But it is known for that skinny portion before it gets fat. And that's rhodostictum. And did I forget something else? I don't think so. And so I'm hoping that it recovers. Over here I have a Den Spider Wings that is a really nice size. It got a nice growth last year. I should be seeing some blooms. When that blooms, it blooms a very, very long time. Now, over here, this is spectabile variety alba, Jade Dragon. And this is the alba version of my spectabile, which is right there. So this should be a yellow alien looking Latouria when it blooms. It is definitely bloom size. And here is another Latouria that was discussed in that book. This is my Den bifalce, which gets a dry rest in the winter, completely dry rest. And these are one of the Latourias that can take full heat and can take almost drought conditions. And I can see there is putting up another one of the eyes down there on the rise. You can see it opening up. So yeah, and this is blooming size. we will see. There is sheaths on the plant, but I am more concerned with the growth. But yeah, that is a Latouria. And like I was saying, this one likes more full sun and dry, although it needs to be moist as well, but it can take dry conditions. This will be moved from back here forward to where it will be probably up here before the end of the summer, where it will be getting those kind of conditions that it likes. But for now, having just moved it out here recently, I will leave it there for now. And let me see if there's any more Latourias here that I can think of before I shut the video down. Although, I know that here's one right here. This is my green flash, which is Andre Millard times convolutum, just a seedling. And I know that I've got probably over here, yes, Hawaiian spectacular. And I can't forget my little seedlings of Adornishi that I got at H&R last year. They put up a growth, not really strong. Eventually I'm probably gonna have to repot these out of that median, put it into something fresh, and hopefully see more growth action. But for now, they're still little bitty seedlings. And let me see if there's any more Latourias. I really do not think so. I really think that I've covered it all. But anyway, that's a overall update on what my Latourias are doing at the moment. And I hope that you have heard me. If not, oh well. I will be back soon. And hopefully this gave you a better idea of Latourias and their requirements and the diversity. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your orchids.